Hey everyone, Marco Montemagno here, Digital Domination Summit with me, Josef Dunne. Hi Josef, how are you going?
Hello Marco, how are you doing?
We just, you know, I'm going around and I love when it's possible to do an interview in person, you know, because normally people, they're watching interviews on webcams and remotely, so it's good to have you here live in London and beautiful weather. And
it's breaking through.
We're ready in a second.
A beautiful building, actually.
Yeah, amazing, really. So, Josef, tell me about this this Babelverse. I was always a big fan of Babelverse from day one, and you are changing this world of translations, you know, and
I told you.
It will happen.
Yeah.
And okay, so what's oh, wait a second. Sorry, man.
Hello. Did I predict that was going to happen? I know.
Ready?
Because I get the drugs. Well, start again.
Yeah, a drunk man just interrupted the interview and you predicted.
Yeah.
So we hope to survive. All right. So what's happening with Babelverse? You're changing the translation word, but what does it mean?
So I think Babelverse is more like we want to enable communication globally, but it's really about being able to communicate with the world in your native language without language barriers. So it's about breaking down language barriers, but also about breaking down geographical barriers.
And you do it by having a network of interpreters, right?
That's right. Yeah.
And how many language could you translate?
Well, the network of interpreters around the world, currently between them, like the linguistical brain of the interpreters, they can speak between them 166 languages.
166?
But that's not the most interesting thing. Like, the more interesting thing is how many combinations they...
Right.
So like at the moment, our community can speak almost 1,000 combinations.
All right.
But to get to the universal translator to be able to speak any language combination globally, there are almost 28 million combinations. We're only on 1,000, so we have a long way to go.
That's crazy. But how many languages are in the world?
World?
I thought, you know, 20 languages or something like that.
Yeah, it's amazing. There are almost 7,000.
Crazy.
And I mean, there are 1,500 languages spoken by more than 1 million native speakers.
All right.
So
amazing.
There's a lot of languages out there.
Well, one question. I think, you know, we have a lot of business people watching the videos and companies or entrepreneurs, entrepreneurs, and the point here is most of the time you create a content online. I think a video, for instance, like this one. We do a video, and then if we want this video translated, it's a pain in the ass. No, usually, from my experience, 15 years experience, I know that is painful.
In Italy?
Yeah, because, you know, we do it in English, then I say, okay, I want it in Italian. Good. What should I do? I get transcripted, then I get translation
into Italian, and then you get somebody to do the subtitles.
Yeah, and then uploading and then syncing. It is really painful, really painful. So why Babelverse should be better than this approach?
I think that Babelverse is different because we don't do text, we do voice. So something that Babelverse can do for video content online is if you have a video and you bring it onto Babelverse platform, we do interpretation. So we have interpreters which are highly skilled at simultaneous interpretation. So watching a piece of video content, 30 minutes, and interpreting live in real time over the video. So it's a very fast way of translating a video. And there's a story about what we're doing. I'll tell you a story. So like Babelverse is trying to work out what do we call this new type of interpretation, because it's not for the conference traditionally. It's not for, you know, a diplomatic meeting, but it's for video content. It's about sharing knowledge as quickly as possible. So I recently found out that in the Soviet Union, the Soviet Union didn't want their citizens to be watching
videos,
Western films or Hollywood movies.
They were dangerous.
They were dangerous. So there was underground interpreters. That used to record privately in a secret room. Very quickly the films. They used to narrate the films. It was one interpreter. It wasn't dubbing, and it was called something. I think it was called Garilov. And Garilov was the name of the interpreter. That was a bit of a a mystery to the Soviets, and they used to share the audio files,
Right.
black market. So I think this is what Babelverse is doing.
Yeah.
To explain it, you know, we are any content out there can
Yeah.
be interpreted very quickly.
But when I was younger, I was a table tennis player, professional table tennis player, and the funny thing is that Swedish got the most famous talented player in the history, the Mozart of table tennis. For some people, if people passionate about table tennis have no idea.
Yeah.
But that's the interesting part. And I was watching a documentary in Swedish, and I was so interested that I finally watched all the documentary in the Swedish language. I couldn't understand anything.
No.
But the point here is that if you can have a system that translate, you know, any language in any language, that will open the possibilities. So I think it's very interesting.
Like that system, that platform is just the power of people. So all these, you know, there are people all around the world that, especially with this topic, with communication,
Right.
with enabling sharing of knowledge, that want to share, want to help, and want to be part of something that is more like a movement. So Babelverse is a bit like a movement. So it's all around the world. We have thousands of people that, as they grow and grow and grow, any video, any audio, any content out there can be quickly interpreted into another language and then enjoyed by you.
How far you are from that vision? I mean, how long it takes to get there? What do you think?
Yeah, something about us, like we started this company without actually looking for an idea.
Okay.
So we don't know where the end is, and we don't even know where the beginning really was, because the beginning was probably 10 years ago. In our minds, we always were interested in science fiction. But the vision, the vision of the universal translator, being able to communicate in any language, I think for us it's like a life project. It's a very long-term vision for us. And we just there are things like machine translation algorithms that are improving, but there's only a certain amount of data that they can eat to, you know, statistically to be able to translate. But we have people, we have you know, we have a long road ahead. Actually.
So it will be finally a collaboration between algorithm and human beings.
It might you know, converge in the future and see what happens. I hope that I'll be doing this for a very long time.
Okay. Yeah. Well, last time we met, you told me a very interesting thing that I don't remember if it was in Japan or in Asia somewhere. There was this idea of a Babelverse tool for guides or something like that.
There was.
I think was very interesting. How did it work?
Yeah, so it was South Korea.
Okay, South Korea.
It was something that was in Korea. If you speak any other language other than Korean, it's very hard to communicate. Right.
And I was there, and I can say yes, it's true. I mean, no one is speaking English.
No. So like, but in South Korea they had the World Cup in 2002, and the Minister of Tourism needed a solution for all the fans that were arriving in South Korea to get around the city to be understood. And he came out with something which was use volunteers in Korea that can be on call, like a telephone. This was before the internet, before YouTube, before Twitter, Facebook. So that when you land at the airport in South Korea, and if anyone does go to South Korea, when you land at the airport, you can get a telephone. They give you a telephone that you can take around the city, take around Seoul. You call a number, and you are connected to a volunteer. So somebody wants speaking for you. You can get them on the telephone. Like we went into a restaurant and we ordered some food when we were in over there, and I asked for a simple thing like rice and chicken. It was a Sunday afternoon. It was 4 o'clock. The restaurants were closed, but there was a family restaurant, and they said, you know, come in. I was like, me and Mayo, you know, nice. Let's sit down. Everything was in Korean. There were no pictures, not even any pictures, and we couldn't explain what we wanted. We just wanted something simple, not something complicated. And Korean food can be quite complicated,
and
right?
Spicy,
and not sure what you're eating, so you don't know what it is, right? But we used Google Translate just to test. You know, we typed in what we want, showed them this, and then they disappeared into the kitchen and they brought back a bowl of like
Some-
soup with some
Okay.
side dishes that look like the insides of an animal, probably were. And then we said, okay, right, this didn't work very well, so let's call a person, let's use the service.
Okay, and you used it.
And we used the service. We got the person on the telephone, but we'd already ordered, so
Okay.
we only needed to ask what they had brought us to the
Okay.
table, and it worked very well. And
Cool.
it was just great to have somebody available.
Yeah, so it was inspiring also for Babelverse, for the...
It is, because it showed us that something already exists, and it began in 2002, and it's
Okay.
2012 we were there, so they had their 10-year anniversary.
Right.
So
Joseph, another point that I want to touch
Yeah.
with you is about marketing, about promoting. And I think you always said some cool ideas about how to promote Babelverse without, spending big budget, because you're a startup, so you can't just spend gazillions of
we
dollars
don't have
on
a
it.
lot of money. We
And you always
bootstrap.
try to find a different way. Can you give me some example of performance that you did to promote Babelverse?
Okay, so I think, we don't do any direct marketing. We don't do any AdWords or
Okay.
Facebook ads. I don't think that's the approach that we should take, because we're more. We need to be more engaged with the people that want to be part of the movement. And
Okay.
so we're always looking for opportunities where we can use Babelverse in the real world. We're not a stealth startup. We've never been in hiding. We have to be
Right.
completely transparent.
Open.
You have to be open. Totally, 100% believe that you have to put your face out there. So something that we did was we saw an opportunity where we could use Babelverse in the real world, which was when Obama gave his State of the Union speech.
Okay.
He gives a 1-hour speech. We saw an opportunity where we could broadcast his speech using our community that we had
Alright.
at the time into as many languages as possible. So we were in Buenos Aires at the time, in a small flat, me and Mael, my co-founder, and we released, first of all, a press release before we even had the product.
All right.
But we only had 24 hours to build the product.
Okay. That's interesting.
It helps
You
that
put-
we are technical founders, right? So,
All right.
because we were like, okay, let's throw this idea out there. Let's put something crazy. So I think that the headline was, Babelverse will interpret Obama into 7,000 languges.
Wow.
Something,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Of course, we would interpret him into as many as we can.
Okay.
So the time came. The press took the bait,
Okay.
and they wrote all the articles that they went out. But the point of the articles was that we needed people to know about it, so that we could have volunteers
All right.
come
Who
and,
translate it.
and translate.
Okay. And you did it finally?
We did it. I mean, it was around 9 p.m. Obama was coming on stage, but I was like, make it live.
Okay.
Let's see what's going to happen. And they came, and they carried on coming, and we had people volunteering and interpreting Obama's State of the Union live into 80 languages.
Okay. Cool.
And 80 was our
Wow.
biggest operation ever.
Yeah. Huge number.
Huge number. So that was a
Excellent.
success for us. And
Yeah.
to add one small thing about that, the best response we had was the interpretation from English into Mandarin.
All right.
Because with these type of things, President Obama giving his State of the Union, the world is interested in what the US president has to say. So also the Chinese are interested in that.
Obviously.
But we broadcast it
amazing market.
into Mandarin live,
Okay.
so people in
Cool.
China can
I
watch
like
it.
the idea, that you just try to find a different approach, start maybe from something that is in the news, and you jump on that bandwagon and try to get...
Not necessarily without a product.
Yeah.
But do you know what we have? We have a passionate community of people.
Yeah, right.
So these people, all around the world, if you give them a mission, if you give them a task,
Yeah. They will follow.
They will follow, and they will help you do it.
Right.
So we.
Last question, Joseph,
Okay.
and then I'll let you go back, translate, go back traveling, because Joseph is traveling so much.
Yeah.
You're traveling so much.
Trying to slow down a bit.
Yeah. But by the way, on this topic, I remember one of the best basketball player in the history, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, was a basketball player. I remember in an interview, they asked him, what's the most important thing for you as a top player? And he said the most important thing is to rest, because when you rest, you learn everything that you did in your practice. So
You're thinking.
Yeah,
as well.
you're thinking,
You have time
and
to think.
very important. So yeah, rest is very important for starters.
Rest is underestimated. So
Yeah, it's one of the most underestimated skills. Last question: what are the top 3 apps? I asked this question to all the digital domination summit speakers. Top 3 apps on your mobile phone that you recommend for a business use.
For the business use?
Yes.
Okay, and this is for businessmen that are resourceful?
Yeah, oh, you can choose, you can choose.
Okay, so best 3 apps that
out there. Not Angry Birds. Angry Birds is not...
okay, you want practical apps?
Yeah,
yeah.
That you really use and you think they
I
are...
actually really use. So I believe in the idea of the sharing, the idea of that ownership is something that we will do less and less of in the future. So ownership is dead.
Okay.
Maybe not yet in my life, but
yeah, more access and less ownership.
Yeah, more access to more temporary access. To Airbnb is an example of that. Yeah. So something that if you live the life that I live, which is a bit spontaneous and you don't know where you'll be, there's an app that I use which is Hotel Tonight.
Hotel Tonight, okay.
Yeah, which is a great app that I used in Berlin recently, which gives you access to very nice hotels.
Okay.
But you have to book it on the day.
All right.
So that's a very useful application.
Okay. So if you travel,
a lot, Hotel Tonight is a great app. And if you need to get around the city, when you're landing in a new city, I think can I say 2 apps?
Yeah, sure,
because they go together.
Okay.
And there's a reason why I want to tell them. But there's a great app that came out of San Francisco, and maybe you saw the pink moustache, the car tash.
Yeah, right.
It's called Lyft.
Lyft.
Lyft. This is a great app, and this is a friend with a car. So it's like Babelverse is a friend that speaks all the languages of the world.
Okay.
This is a friend that can get you from A to B in a city.
Okay.
And it works off of donations. So you get in the car, these people are also vetted. You give them, they take you from A to B, and then you give them a donation, a thank you. You say, here's $5, here's $6, here's $15.
Okay.
It's all based on donations and people that want to help. But then there's something else which is also an app which I want to mention is Uber is a very
famous and also
you have to have that app on your phone.
All right.
But the Lyft is like the sharing
with the social mission.
The social mission, and Uber is more like the luxury. But they go together. You have to put them together because.
Excellent, Joseph. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And good luck for everything.
Cheers.